We are here in Arizona with endurance racer Taylor Lideen. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm doing very well. Good to see you. Thank you for doing this.
Now we are here ahead of Belgian Waffle Ride Arizona, the first here in your old stomping grounds of Phoenix. You now live in NWA, Northwest Arkansas, but hail from Arizona. So I want to talk about your bike. I want you to talk about your bike. I want to hear about your bike. I want to hear about the hot question for gravel, which is what tires you running, brah?
Yeah.
And then I want to hear a bit about how mountain bike and gravel come together for you, because for a lot of folks, 100 miles is a long event. For you, that's nothing. You held the record at 24 Hours of Old Pueblo, second 24-hour national championships. Keywords here, 24 hours. So 8 hours, walk in the park. So yeah, let's start off with the BWR bike.
For sure.
What you got here?
So yeah, the BWR course in Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm actually really familiar with. Living here my whole life, I've ridden those roads and those trails as long as I've ridden bikes. So I know the course really well. Going with my pivot vault that I spend a lot of time on, both when we lived in Arizona and now in Northwest Arkansas. I do think that the hot topic for everybody is tire choice, especially for an event that is so mixed with pavement, single track, and dirt road. So that's kind of a tough thing to answer. For me, I have Maxxis Ramblers on right now.
But that's a bait and switch.
That is a bait and switch, yes. I am going to be going with the Receptors. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a semi-slick.
Slick, center, shoulder knob.
And some corner knobs. Mm-hmm. So I think just with the amount of pavement, that's going to be a fast tire choice, but enough to hook up on the decomposed granite out there. It is a little slippery on the single track out there. It's basically just loose over hard pack. But we've been lucky. We've had some rain this week, and I think that's going to limit the dust that we deal with out there, but also add some traction, if that's the right word for out there. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, the Receptors, I think I'll go front and rear. The Pivot Vault for me is a bike I'm really, really comfortable with. I spend a ton of time on it, and with the ISOFlex for me, it's been kind of a game changer. I raced this bike at the Unbound XL in 2021.
Which you won, by the way, yes.
Super comfortable. It's a bike that I just know really well and feel at home on. The Geo is aggressive, but not too aggressive. And it's something I'm excited to race on this year that I have in the past.
So you're certainly very familiar with this bike. You worked for Pivot for years before you were even racing for them.
I did, yep.
Folks who might not be as familiar, explain how the flex works. This looks like a dropper post to some folks, but it's not.
It does. You kind of have your teardrop flare off of the seat tube here. So the ISOFlex it adds a little bit of dampening in the seat tube, and it's a really easy system to work with. It's a really easy system to swap from bike to bike, to remove, to clean, to grease. Basically all it is, it's pop the seat post out, pop the seat collar off, and you have something similar to what, not the same, but very similar to what like a center lock rotor would be to remove the ISOFlex insert. I just swapped it from one bike to the other back at home before we came on this trip, and it took me 2 minutes to do. So added comfort, very easy to work with, very easy to service. Yeah, I like it a lot.
So there's no vertical travel, but there's just a bit of damping
while
still keeping a stiff lower chassis.
Yep. So compliance, I would say, just enough compliance to take the edge off of a square hit.
Yeah. Tell me about your thoughts on long mountain bike racing, like 24-hour racing, versus what for the rest of us is a long gravel race, like 120 miles, 140 miles. Is it the same headspace for you, or do you approach those events differently?
For me, it's a lot different. It's a lot more intense. The pace, it seems like with these gravel races now more than ever, there's so much surging early on, especially with how many heavy hitters are showing up to, you can pretty much go to any gravel race in the country now, and there's heavy hitters at the front at every single one. So I really enjoy the challenge. It's something that I struggle with a bit, is that kind of on and off. Mm-hmm. Whereas the 24-hour mountain biking is kind of, you just set it in that diesel mode, set it and forget it, and just eat the whole time and not let your mind wander to really dark places. It inevitably goes there, but you just kind of have to manage that.
Yeah. How do you manage that? Do you have any tips or tricks?
I've failed a lot at it, but I think failing so many times at it, I've also learned a lot of valuable lessons. And I think the biggest thing, and even for people racing this weekend, right? Like, you're going to have really low lows, but inevitably there's going to be a really high high at the end of that low. And so just trust that that will come, and just don't get behind on eating. That's the big thing, is eat from start to finish.
Tell me about Bentonville, or the Northwest Arkansas area. What lured you out there, and how does that compare to
this desert?
The desert of Arizona.
Yeah, so we grew up, my wife and I grew up and spent our entire lives here in the Phoenix area, and we'd been looking to buy our first home, and Phoenix was just becoming a little bit expensive. And so we obviously looked in Colorado, looked in Utah, and those were a little bit expensive as well. So never visited the state of Arkansas, actually, and we decided, we've heard a lot about this, heard a lot about Bentonville in particular, and we kind of just went out on a whim and moved there sight unseen.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And we honestly couldn't be happier with our decision. It's been absolutely incredible. The accessibility to gravel, the accessibility to single track, just the cycling infrastructure as a whole has really blown our minds. And it's not just Bentonville either. Like, we're really lucky that obviously the back 40, everything is located in Bella Vista and Bentonville proper, but we have things like the Monument Trails and the Imba Epic Trails that are nearby. So there's really no shortage of accessibility to whatever bike you own or whatever bike you want to own in the future. You can check that box of, okay, I have single track out my back door. I have safe pavement to ride, that people are really friendly in that area and give cyclists space, and they understand that cycling is bringing a lot of money to that community. So it's, I think it's reflecting in the way that the community as a whole is accepting cyclists too.
That's one thing. I've got family in Fayetteville. I experienced Bentonville with the stretchy pants on for the first time. Just last fall, and was the family-friendly part is what probably impressed me the most. Like, I understood about how much money had gone into the infrastructure and all the enthusiast things there.
Pleasantly surprising.
But was pleasantly surprised to see it was like, it's not just for people who don't think anything about spending $10,000 on a bike. Like, it's for people who want to just maybe ride with their kids to the park.
For sure.
Building that infrastructure in, which is, I think, critical. So
it's cool. Awesome. Yeah, and it's like you see families that will go rent bikes for the first time together, experience some of the beginner trails, and then who knows, like a couple years down the road, you see those kids.
It's normal to wear stretchy pants. Like, this is what we do.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been great. Yeah, we love the area.
Yeah. Last question, sure, then I'll let you get about your business. What are the big targets for you this year? You've got BWR Arizona this weekend. You've got Cactus Cup next weekend. Is Unbound XL another win on the list for you? That's
the big target for me, is Unbound XL for sure. It makes it a little bit tricky because with the Life Time Grand Prix, I have to opt to drop the 200 for the XL. But for me, I just get really excited for those really long ones. That's kind of up my alley. So yeah, the XL I think is the big target. And I really struggled in the Grand Prix last year. So hoping to avoid those struggles this year. So that'll be a big target. But yeah, I'm excited to race across the country as much as I can this year, and get to experience new places.
Doing the mountain bike, doing the gravel, the short gravel, the long gravel, the series, and the XL, all the things.
As long as it's a bike race, I'm happy, man.
All right. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this.